Picture this: no backup, no supply runs, just you, your property, and 90 continuous days of absolute isolation. It is a washed-out access road, downed power lines, and 3 months of hard reality. Out here, the threats are not tactical ninjas. It is the 300-pound feral hogs rooting under your fence lines at 2 in the morning. It is the coyotes testing your livestock boundaries. It is the relentless moisture, the gritty mud, and the mechanical wear that will eat sheet metal alive. If your primary tool goes down on day 12, you have 78 days of deep trouble ahead of you. What do you reach for when failure is not an option? Welcome back to the shop. I am Gunforge. I have spent my life turning wrenches, evaluating metal, and trusting tools to do the hard jobs. Today, we are looking at 7 specific rifles through the eyes of an old-school farmer who trusts a lever action but needs modern reliability. We are stripping away the tactical plastic and the catalog marketing hype. We are talking pure metallurgy, gas system efficiency, and board carrier group durability. We are figuring out exactly which piece of machinery can successfully handle the AR-15 bow Vitrang Traichin. Moingay protocol, a full 3 months of relentless farm defense without a single trip to a gunsmith. If you rely on your tools to protect your livelihood, hit that subscribe button right now. We deal in metal, grease, and facts here. I have ranked these 7 machines from a basic entry level fix up to the absolute benchmark of hard use reliability. Let us head to the workbench and tear into the first one. Coming in at number 7 is a machine that almost everyone knows, the Smith & Wesson M&P15 Sport II. Historically, this rifle has been the gateway for millions of Americans stepping into modern defensive tools. It is not trying to be a precision sniper platform or a specialized tactical entry weapon. It was designed from the ground up to be a straightforward, no-nonsense utility rifle that lives behind the seat of a pickup truck. When we look under the hood, the engineering is incredibly basic but fundamentally sound for a working environment. You get a 4140 steel barrel with an Armory finish, both inside and out. That finish is a ferritic nitrocarburizing process, which is just a fancy metallurgical term for saying it hardens the surface and resists rust and corrosion far better than old-school bare steel. The bolt carrier group, the actual engine of the rifle, features a properly staked gas key. That is a critical detail because if those screws back out from vibration, your rifle turns into a clumsy bolt action. It operates on a standard carbine-length direct impingement gas system. It is not the smoothest cycling machine, but it forces the expanding gas back to cycle the action with enough brute force to push through minor fouling and grit. Now, how does this fit into our AR-15 Bao Vitrang Traichin Moingay protocol? In a 3-month isolation scenario, your biggest advantage is absolute simplicity and familiarity. This is the rifle that your spouse, your older children, or your hired hand can pick up and operate without a steep learning curve. It does not require special synthetic lubrication to run. If you are out of gun oil, a few drops of standard 10W30 motor oil from the tractor shed right onto the bolt carrier, exhaust ports will keep it chugging along. When a pack of feral dogs is pushing the fence line at dusk, you need a tool that goes bang every time the trigger is pulled, without needing to fiddle with adjustable gas blocks. The realistic pros of this platform are its lightweight handling and its absolute refusal to be picky about cheap ammunition. It will chew through the dirty, steel-cased ammunition you bought in bulk without complaining. The cons, however, are noticeable when the work gets prolonged and heavy. The barrel profile is relatively thin, meaning it heats up incredibly fast under sustained use, causing your shot groups to open up. Furthermore, the factory trigger is exceptionally heavy and feels like dragging a cinder block over a gravel road. That heavy pull can easily throw off your accuracy when taking a careful, longer shot at a coyote harassing your newborn calves. It is undeniably a starter tool, but a highly dependable one that gets the job done. For the pricing, the manufacturer's suggested retail price is roughly $800, but you can typically find the current street price sitting comfortably around $600. But if you want something with a proprietary twist built strictly for the working man, let us look at what Ruger brings to the table. Stepping into the number 6 spot, we have the Ruger AR-556. And Ruger has built a massive legacy on producing firearms that hit like a hammer and last just as long, much like their legendary heavy-duty double-action revolvers. When they finally entered the crowded modern sporting rifle market, they did not just clone what everyone else was doing. They built a robust workhorse intended for the blue-collar operator who treats his rifle exactly like he treats his chainsaw or his tractor. Looking at the mechanical side, Ruger made a massive upgrade where it counts the most, right at the barrel. They use a Cold Hammer Forged 4140 chrome moly steel barrel. Cold hammer forging is a violent process that physically compresses the steel under immense pressure around a mandrel, aligning the grain structure of the metal to make it exceptionally dense, heat-resistant, and long-lasting. They also use a 1 in 8-inch twist rate, which is an incredibly smart engineering competence. It flawlessly stabilizes cheap 55-grain target loads while still perfectly handling heavier, harder-hitting 77-grain defensive rounds. They also redesigned the standard delta ring, the part that holds the front handguard in place. Instead of the traditional stiff spring-loaded ring that requires 3 hands and a lot of swearing to remove, Ruger uses a threaded screw-on locking ring. Now, applying this strictly to the AR-15 BAOV Trong Trichin Moi Ngai Challenge, that cold hammer forged barrel is your absolute biggest asset. When you are 90 days without a resupply or a repair station, you cannot afford a barrel that shoots out or loses accuracy quickly from carbon buildup. Farm life means constant exposure to grit, uti blowing sand, and driving rain. The dense internal steel structure of the Ruger barrel withstands that abrasive environment far better than standard cut rifling. It is the old heavy-duty truck of the rifle world. It might not win a beauty contest, but it will drag a heavy load through the mud all day long. It is designed for those daily perimeter checks on the four-wheeler, where it is constantly subjected to bouncing and harsh vibrations. The pros here heavily favor the practical, everyday user. The barrel longevity is genuinely unmatched in this bracket, and the milled gas block with the pinned front sight is robust enough to survive being dropped repeatedly on rocky soil. The cons are mostly related to those proprietary parts. While the screw-on delta ring is easy to use in a clean shop, if it gets packed with freezing mud or fine dust out in the pasture, the threads can bind up tightly, making field stripping a massive headache without a wrench. Additionally, the standard factory furniture is notoriously stiff and unforgiving. For the pricing, the manufacturer's suggested retail price sits around $899, while the current street price hovers right around $750. Before we tear into the next bracket, I have to warn you, the top 3 rifles on this list are going to genuinely upset some brand loyalists. The difference between a hobby gun and a life-saving tool comes down to deep metallurgical secrets that most people completely ignore. Stick around, because the #1 spot is definitely not what the internet tells you to buy. Moving on to number 5. How did we step up to the Springfield Armory Saint? Springfield introduced the Saint line specifically to target users who were tired of buying a base model rifle and immediately having to spend hundreds of dollars replacing the cheap plastic parts and upgrading the trigger. They wanted to offer a ready-to-work, highly refined package right out of the cardboard box. Mechanically, the Saint makes a critical leap forward in its operating system by utilizing a mid-length gas system rather than the harsher, shorter carbine length system found on our previous entries. This means the gas port is drilled further down the barrel, allowing the internal pressures to drop and stabilize slightly before the hot gas is tapped to cycle the bolt. Furthermore, Springfield utilizes melanite surface coatings on both the barrel and the bolt carrier group. Melanite is a liquid salt bath nitrocarburizing treatment that deeply penetrates the steel. It provides exceptional surface lubricity and makes baked-on carbon fouling wipe off incredibly easily. They also meticulously coat their trigger components in nickel boron, which drastically reduces metal-on-metal friction. Looking through the lens of our AR-15 BAOV Trong Trichin Moi Ngai survival scenario, that mid-length gas system is a massive mechanical advantage for long-term durability. Over a continuous 3-month period of total isolation, reducing the violent rearward velocity of the bolt cycling means you are putting significantly less stress on your critical internal components. Your extractor, your bolt lugs, and your buffer system are not being hammered as aggressively, meaning they are far less likely to shear off or fail when you are completely cut off from a spare parts bin. The nickel-boron trigger means that even when the lower receiver gets caked in fine agricultural dust, the firing mechanism remains slick enough to break cleanly when you need to drop a feral hog on the run. The pros of the Saint are undeniably its very smooth shooting characteristics, lower felt recoil, and the vastly improved trigger right out of the box. You also get high-quality Bravo company furniture that feels incredibly solid and locks up tight without any annoying rattling. The cons, however, lie in its barrel profile. It is still a relatively standard lightweight profile, meaning it will still heat up quite rapidly if you are forced to lay down sustained fire against a large pack of predators. Also, the slim handguard, which while comfortable to grip, transfers that barrel heat to your bare hands much faster than thicker, heavier designs. For the pricing, the manufacturer suggested retail price is roughly $1,023, with the current street price sitting near $850. Smooth shooting is excellent, but what happens when you actually break a vital mechanical part out in the sticks? The next rifle solves that fear entirely by being the easiest machine on earth to find parts for. Arriving at number 4, we have the Palmetto State Armory PA-15. Palmetto State Armory entered the industry with a singular, aggressive mission to arm as many hardworking Americans as humanly possible by drastically driving down the overall cost of ownership. And the history of this rifle is quite literally the history of the modern budget builder. It has quickly become the most common, widely distributed rifle platform in the country today. From a pure engineering standpoint, the PA-15 relies on strictly standard, old-school military specification dimensions. There is absolutely no proprietary magic here. You are getting a Carpenter 158 steel bolt, which is the exact metallurgical standard demanded by the military to ensure maximum bolt lug strength under high pressure. The bolt carrier is fully phosphate coated on the outside and properly chrome lined inside the gas key and the internal bolt channel to resist heat erosion. The barrel is typically nitride treated or heavy phosphate coated. It is a mass-produced machine built on the sheer volume of standardized CNC machining. When we evaluate this through the harsh reality of the AR-15 Bao Vitrang Trichin Moingai parameters, the PA-15 offers a powerful survival advantage, which is absolute standardization. In a prolonged isolation event, your greatest fear is a minor mechanical breakage that you simply cannot fix. Because the PA-15 is so utterly common and strictly adheres to basic dimensional standards, every single pin, detent, spring, and screw is universally interchangeable. If you snap a firing pin, chip an extractor, or wear out your gas rings, you do not need to call a manufacturer and wait for a proprietary part. You probably already have a cheap spare parts kit sitting in your garage workbench drawer that will drop right in and function perfectly. It is the ultimate open source hardware. It gives the isolated farmer the ability to be his own armorer with nothing more than basic hand tools. The clear pros of this platform are its unbeatable parts availability, its incredibly low barrier to entry, and the peace of mind knowing that it is exceptionally easy to diagnose and repair. You could practically buy 2 of these for the price of 1 mid-tier rifle, giving you an entire secondary rifle just for backup parts. The cons are directly tied to its rapid mass production nature. Factory quality control can occasionally be a gamble. You might get a rifle that runs flawlessly for 10,000 rounds, or you might get one with an improperly torqued barrel nut right from the factory floor. Furthermore, the standard phosphate finish tends to hold onto moisture and will develop surface rust much faster in the humid. Seed wet farm grass if you do not keep it aggressively oiled. For the pricing, the manufacturer suggested retail price sits right around $600, but the current street price drops down to $450 or $500 during their sales. Having cheap replacement parts is a smart strategy, but having a rifle that simply refuses to break in the first place is even smarter, which brings us to our heavy-duty top 3. Before we cross that line into the professional grade tier, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a rifle fail on you out in the field when you needed it most? Drop down into the comments and tell me your worst mechanical failure story. Breaking into the top 3, we arrive at the Bravo Company manufacturing Recce-16. The history of BCM is rooted deeply in the veteran community. They did not start by catering to casual weekend shooters or the competitive target market. They built their reputation by providing professional-grade hardware to private security contractors and law enforcement officers who demanded duty-level reliability without the astronomical price tag of custom boutique builders. BCM essentially set the benchmark for what the industry now considers a serious working rifle. Looking closely at the engineering side, BCM does something incredibly critical that most budget-tier manufacturers completely skip, which is individual high-pressure testing and magnetic particle inspection. Instead of just testing one bolt out of every random batch of 100, BCM fires a highly overpressured proof round through every single barrel and bolt they produce. After that violent stress test, they run a powerful magnetic field over the metal and inspect it under ultraviolet light to find microscopic internal stress fractures. Furthermore, their upper receivers are deliberately machined slightly undersized. To install the barrel, you literally have to heat the aluminum receiver with a torch to expand it before sliding the barrel into place, creating a rigid thermal fit that ensures zero play or wobble. Applying this directly to our strict AR-15 Bao Vi Trang Chai Chin Moi Ngai protocol, that level of obsessive quality control is your ultimate insurance policy. When you are completely cut off from the outside world for 3 months, a hidden microfracture in your bolt carrier group is a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. A cheap bolt might suddenly snap right when a pack of coyotes is cornering your expensive livestock. With the BCM, that specific fear is entirely engineered out of the equation before the rifle ever leaves the factory floor. The thermal fit barrel means that even if the rifle is violently rattled around inside the metal cab of your heavy combined harvester for weeks on end, the barrel will not shift, and your zero will remain absolutely deadly. The pros are incredibly clear for the user. You are paying for a professional level of quality control, highly durable internal components, and a gas operating system tuned perfectly to run in harsh, filthy environments without choking. The cons are that the gas ports are typically drilled slightly large. This is intentional to power through thick carbon buildup, but it means the rifle feels slightly overgassed and snappier in its recoil compared to custom-tuned setups. It also ejects the brass violently, which can severely dent the casings if you are someone who likes to save and reload your empty ammunition to save money. For the pricing, the manufacturer's suggested retail price sits right at $1,500, with the current street price generally hovering around $1,300. But if you want a barrel that is so aggressively forged that it almost defies physics entirely, we need to look at what Daniel Defense brings to the table. Taking the number 2 spot is the Daniel Defense DDM 4V7. The story of Daniel Defense is heavily tied to the global war on terror. They began their manufacturing journey by winning military contracts to provide ultra-rugged aluminum rail systems for special operations forces. When they finally transitioned into building complete rifles, they brought that same brutal, combat-proven standard directly to the civilian market. The mechanical engineering inside the Daniel Defense is entirely focused on creating an indestructible front end. They are one of the very few companies in America that operates their own massive cold hammer, forging machines entirely in-house. But they do not stop at just forging the raw steel. They apply an internal hard chrome lining that is significantly thicker than standard military specifications. Heavy chrome lining is crucial because it creates a protective barrier that strongly resists the intense heat and friction of burning gunpowder, while also completely laughing off rust and moisture. Yet their free-floating handguard uses a proprietary bolt-up system that securely clamps to the upper receiver using 4 massive heavy-duty steel bolts, creating a structural bridge that is practically impossible to bend or shift under load. In the strict context of our AR-15 Bao Vitrang Trai Chin Moi Ngai challenge, this specific rifle represents the ultimate peace of mind. During 3 months of harsh isolation, your rifle will inevitably get soaked in freezing rain, dropped in the heavy mud, and left uncleaned in the dusty corner of the barn. Standard raw barrels will begin to pit and corrode internally under those harsh conditions. The heavy chrome lining inside the Daniel Defense barrel acts as an armored shield against the elements and daily neglect. It allows you to ignore tedious daily maintenance and focus entirely on keeping your farm running. When a massive feral hog is destroying your expensive irrigation pipes in the dead of night, You grab this rifle knowing the heavy-duty rail system will maintain perfect alignment for your flashlight and optics, no matter how badly you battered the gun that day. The pros here are the legendary barrel life, which can easily exceed 20,000 rounds of hard, rapid use, and a handguard lockup that is basically bomb-proof. It is a true lifetime tool that you can pass down to your children. The cons are primarily the heavy weight and the aggressive gas tuning. These rifles are intentionally overgassed to ensure they cycle even when heavily fouled by dirt, which results in a sharper recoil impulse and slightly faster wear on the internal buffer spring. Furthermore, the proprietary furniture, especially the rubberized pistol grip, is often criticized as being uncomfortable for users with larger hands. For the pricing, the manufacturer's suggested retail price is roughly $1,970, while the current street price normally sits near $1,700. But even with that absolute tank-like barrel, there is still one original manufacturer that holds the undeniable benchmark for duty-proven history. Claiming the absolute #1 spot is the undisputed benchmark of the industry, the Colt LE6920. The history of this specific machine is literally the history of the modern military carbine. This is the exact civilian legal and a semi-automatic twin to the legendary M4 carbine that has been carried by American military forces across the globe for decades. It is not a clone, it is not a copy, and it is not a modern reimagining. It is the original standard. The engineering here is purely dictated by strict technical data packages and military specifications. Every single component is exactly what the original blueprint demands. The barrel is made from high-quality 4150 chrome, molybdenum steel, fully chrome lined, and magnetic particle inspected. The bolt carrier group features a genuine Carpenter 158 steel bolt, rigorously tested for structural integrity, and the gas key is aggressively staked to prevent the fasteners from ever backing out under heavy vibration. It utilizes the classic pinned front sight base, which is physically taper pinned into the barrel steel, making it the most robust gas block mounting method ever devised. When we drop this machine into the brutal reality of our AR-15 Bao Vitrang Trichin Moengai scenario, the Colt provides the strongest emotional and practical payoff imaginable: absolute predictability. When you are entirely isolated for 3 full months, facing harsh weather, dangerous predators, and total exhaustion, you do not want experimental features or fancy tactical upgrades. You want a tool that behaves exactly the same way every single time you pull the heavy trigger. Because it strictly adheres to the fundamental military blueprint, the wear patterns are entirely predictable. You know exactly when a spring might need attention, and you know the rifle will endure incredible mechanical abuse before suffering a critical failure. The pinned front sight base means that even if you drop the rifle straight down onto a jagged rock, your gas system will not shift or fail, ensuring the rifle will still cycle the next round to protect your property. The pros of the Colt are its legendary, undeniable track record of reliability, its incredibly strong resale value, and the comfort of owning the gold standard of the platform. The cons are highly visual. Colt is notorious for sending out rifles with terrible cosmetic finishes. You will frequently find noticeable tool marks, sloppy anodizing, and minor scratches right out of the factory box. It also comes with outdated, basic plastic handguards instead of a modern rail system, meaning mounting accessories requires immediate upgrades. For the pricing, the manufacturer's suggested retail price is normally around $1,100, with the current street price sitting firmly at $1,000 flat. With the price tag of our ultimate choice covered, we have to look back at what this all means for your survival strategy. Looking back across these 7 machines, the core truth of the AR-15 Bao Vitrang Trichin Moengai protocol becomes painfully clear. We are not out here trying to win a beauty contest or impress strangers on the internet with flashy tactical accessories. When you are cut off from the world for 3 months, staring down feral hogs, coyotes, and the relentless wear and tear of a working farm, your survival depends entirely on boring, predictable, mechanical reliability. The biggest mistake you can make as a property owner is trusting a catalog description over proven metallurgy. Fancy paint jobs and lightweight skeletonized parts will not keep your livestock safe when the rain is blowing sideways and your hands are covered in tractor grease. You need cold forged steel, proper gas system tuning, and a bolt carrier group that absolutely refuses to quit under pressure. The decision you make today while sitting in comfort is the exact same decision you will be forced to live with when the access roads wash out and you are entirely on your own out in the pasture. So before you spend your hard-earned money, ask yourself this. If your life and your livelihood depended on one single rifle firing successfully on day 89 of total isolation, now which piece of machinery are you truly willing to bet the farm on? If you're watching from the living room couch, pull out your phone, open up the YouTube app, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Gunforge signing off.